Right now it's 6. A gas leak in Joplin closes traffic in the area for all directions. We have the latest.
And we have an alert day in place today. Excuse me. Strong to severe thunderstorms expected this afternoon. We're going to break it down coming up.
Plus, a Veterans Honor Park in Southwest Missouri installs a high-flying tribute.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Friday, April the 17th, and we have our alert day in place today. We've been talking about that severe threat today, and it is here. And it's our greatest severe risk so far this season, with damaging winds being our main concern out there. So make sure you're weather ready. Hopefully you're weather ready. Hopefully you folks at home are weather ready. Get KOAM Skywatch weather app that we get those alerts, and of course KOAM Plus. And we can stream our coverage as we track these storms later today. Let's talk about that alert day and what we are expecting out there as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Timing is still looking to be about 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. For these strong to severe thunderstorms across the region. We're looking at 80-mile-an-hour winds, large hail to very large hail, and perhaps an isolated tornado or two out there as well. Right now, take a look. Not too bad. We've got some partly cloudy, really mostly clear skies here at the station on our West Coast camera. Winds gusty. Since yesterday, they've been helping to bring in the ingredients essentially for our storms later today. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking good so far. Our temperatures are at 69 in Joplin right now. Dew points up to 63. Humidity is at 81%. And those are a couple of the many factors going into our strong to severe storm chances later today. A lot of us into the upper 60s now. We do have some cooler spots. Mount Vernon, for example, sitting at 65, and then a whole string of 71 still in the Wada, Veneta, and Grove. Those are our warmer temperatures. And with our severe threat, all hazards are possible. Somewhat good news is the hail threat. While we still get up to a 3 out of 5 risk here in our northwestern counties, it's been scaled back. But that's still going to be a problem out here across parts of southeastern Kansas, and our damaging wind risk is ultimately, again, the primary concern we have with storms later today. And a reminder, too, it's not showing up on this particular future track, but a few other pieces of data suggest that between 10 a.m. or about 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., we could get an isolated storm, perhaps two. I mean, we're talking 1 or 2 in the entire area. But if they were to happen, they'll be in an environment favorable for them to intensify, so they could become severe, even though it may only be 1. And it may actually miss every major city in our region, but we still want to watch that. Outside of that, though, our big storm threat starts coming in about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. Could get some supercells ahead of this line. This line intensifies, rolls through, and then we get another one as the actual cold front begins to approach that could also bring additional strong to severe storm chances late evening and into the early overnight hours. Kids out to school this morning, upper 60s and mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy as they head home again, throwing just for safety an isolated storm chance up there, but I think otherwise we're mostly cloudy at about 81. That's where our temperatures are going to head today, is into the upper 70s and low 80s. South winds out there gusting upwards of 35. We're going to break down our storm threat and go over the timing of these storms hour by hour for you in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Roads in South Joplin reopen after a major gas leak forces closures in all directions. This started sometime before 2:45 p.m. yesterday. The leak was near Southern Star, River Road, and Gateway Drive in Joplin and Newton counties. Officials asked the public to avoid the area as crews worked to repair the damage. The gas created a loud roar and visible cloud as it escaped from the line. At one point, authorities had closed traffic for as far as a mile from the site of the leak, which was caused by a line strike. In a press release, Southern Star's Central Gas Pipeline says the gas has been contained with no safety concerns for the public. Well, in Joplin, more than 200 people attended the Thrive Joplin Summit, including nonprofit groups, businesses, and community members. One Joplin will launch the Thrive Joplin Project, which is a 4-year plan to improve health and wellness across the region. The blueprint focuses on several areas such as affordable housing, mental health, and family support.
To get the community rallied behind what we can do to uplift each other. That's really what the Thrive Project is about. It's about everybody seeing how they can contribute to these 4 different pillars and help everybody.
The project started with community surveys and focus groups to identify the biggest health barriers. The next step involves incorporating feedback and launching action plans throughout the region. Well, restored military jet now stands as a tribute to all veterans in the Joplin area. The Freedom of Flight Museum unveiled the centerpiece of its new Veterans Honor Park, a beautifully restored Lockheed 233 Shooting Star jet. The historic T-Bird underwent extensive restoration to become the focal point of the new community landmark on Highway 171.
This will be probably Joplin's only attraction up north here that we have. So what we're hoping is not only have the aircraft, the T-33 you see behind me, we may be able to get another helicopter or something put in there. People just don't realize what kind of a gem that we have right here in Joplin at the Joplin Airport.
The new Veterans Honor Park will be located at the Freedom of Flight Museum at the Joplin Regional Airport. Well, April is National Donate Life Month, and today, a reminder that one decision can save lives. 4 years after a Joplin police officer was killed in the line of duty, his family says his final act of service didn't end that day. In her special report, Legacy of Service, KOAM's Tanya Bach shows us how Officer Jake Reed's legacy lives on and why the message matters right now.
I drive over it as often as, whenever I'm in town, I come this way and smile, yeah.
It's a bridge with a name, but for Melissa Reed, it's also a place that still feels like her son is close. Officer Jake Reed was killed in the line of duty in March of 2022, and even in that heartbreak, his family chose to give life.
It doesn't get easier, but we learn to get through every day.
Jake's organs were donated, turning a tragedy into a second chance for strangers.
He was able to save 4 lives. He donated his lungs, his heart, his liver, his kidneys, and his pancreas.
During National Donate Life Month, advocates hope more families will talk about donation before they ever have to face that decision.
When someone decides to join the donor registry, it's important because what they are saying yes to is something that, it's very generous and it's very personal, because you're not exactly sure that when you join the donor registry, you'll actually help someone, but you have the intent to help someone.
The Officer Jake Reed Memorial Bridge isn't just a bridge with his name on it. It has special meaning for him and his family. In 2019, Jake saved a woman who was threatening to jump off the bridge.
He just basically walked up and grabbed her, and he was tall, he was 6'3", so he just grabbed her and pulled her down.
Mother says that's who Jake was, always stepping in, always helping, and even after his death, that instinct to serve did not stop.
Jake, he was a hero and saved lives in life, and he's a hero and saved lives in death.
The Midwest Transplant Network says one donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation and help up to 100 more through tissue donation. But the need is urgent. Right now, thousands of people in Kansas and Missouri are still waiting.
There's 108,000 people on the wait list across the country. And there's about 2,500 people in Kansas and Missouri who are waiting for a gift of a donation.
Melissa says their family is now considering the next step, meeting Jake's recipients, so they can know the man behind their gift.
I really want them to know who Jake is and was, and we honor him this way.
4 years later, Melissa says Jake's legacy is still written in service, protecting his community in life, and through organ donation, bridging the gap to new life for others after death. Reporting in Joplin, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
If you'd like to register as an organ donor, you can easily do it when you renew your driver's license. Advocates say it's just as important to tell your family your decision so they can honor it if the time ever comes. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Trump hints at weekend Iran talks as fighting could resume without a deal. And severe weather expected later today. Chris has a look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch. Another ceasefire in the Middle East this morning. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to pause Israeli strikes on Hezbollah targets for 10 days, though Israel says it's ready to resume strikes if the militant group launches more attacks. This as President Trump says the war with Iran is, quote, going swimmingly, while again hinting the conflict could come to a close soon. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
President Trump is hinting at when the next round of direct peace talks with Iran could take place.
Probably, maybe over the weekend.
But if there's no agreement,
If there's no deal, fighting resume.
the Pentagon says more than 10,000 U.S. service members, at least a dozen ships, and 100 aircraft are part of the effort to block Iran's ports near the Strait of Hormuz.
13 ships have made the wise choice of turning around. Any vessel that compares to comply with our instructions will be dealt with accordingly.
This as the president shifted his focus Thursday to the economy, visiting Las Vegas to play up his no tax on tips policy. But skyrocketing gas prices have put a dent in many of the benefits Americans might see this tax season.
Prices are all up everywhere. Gas prices are astronomical. Food prices, grocery prices.
President Trump brushed off concerns, saying gas prices are not very high.
We're blowing it away now. And despite our little diversion.
Meanwhile, celebration in the streets of Lebanon overnight after a U.S.-backed 10-day ceasefire between them and Israel took effect. President Trump on social media called it a historic day for Lebanon, adding he hopes Hezbollah acts nicely and well during this important period of time. Jared Hill, CBS News.
A resolution in the U.S. House to rein in President Trump's ability to attack Iran without congressional approval failed yesterday on a slim 213 to 214 vote. A similar measure also failed again this week in the Senate. Well, still to come, severe weather expected later today. Chris has a look at your weekend forecast. Tom Cruise is reviving one of his most iconic roles in an upcoming film, plus an exclusive interview with the cast of Waste Man. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Of course, this is all dependent on continued good behavior.
There's an eeriness about the film Waste Man as this cinematic thriller shows one man's fight to survive as his new cellmate puts his parole in jeopardy.
Careful. I don't need to be careful. Our director very early on said, look, I want you to go all the way. I want people to be kind of scared of you on set.
Part of that included fake tattoos that actor Tom Blythe said he left on for more than a month during filming.
To save time, basically, I went through like 6 hours of hair and makeup, and then we left it on, and then we kind of retouched them up every morning. But I was going home and kind of wearing those tattoos and kind of forgetting I had them on and being looked at very differently to how I usually probably am perceived.
Waste Man is in theaters now. Tom Cruise and his need for speed means another Top Gun movie is taking off. Paramount made the announcement during this week's CinemaCon that Cruise has signed on to make Top Gun 3. It follows the success of 2022's Top Gun Maverick. This beautiful blonde is the latest up-and-coming star in Hollywood. Buddy, the golden retriever, and his basketball skills are headed for the big screen in Air Bud Returns.
I can interpret that for you. He's really demanding a lot of new things like bacon-infused popcorn, only Evian water now. So he's becoming more expensive.
Buddy does all his own stunts in the film. Air Bud Returns comes out in January. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
I think we found our next Oscar winner. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
And we are going to break down what you need to know for this Friday afternoon. Of course, we have our alert day in place. Strong to severe thunderstorms expected later today. Our cold front, though, also bringing us cooler temperatures this weekend, so be prepared for that. And it's a brief cool down. Warmer weather next week. We'll have details when we come back.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:21 now on this Friday morning, and we've got our alert day in place for the strong to severe thunderstorms later today. Let's break down the threats as they stand right now. We have a 2 out of 5 on that tornado risk, and the hatch marks indicating the potential for up to an EF2 strength tornado. Again, these are all the potentials. These are what the greatest risks are based on atmospheric conditions for the storms later today. It's not necessarily guaranteed that every storm will do these things. Our hail threat, well, we still have that 3 out of 5 into our northwestern counties. It's been scaled back significantly because we had that 3 out of 5 way down, all the way to the I-44 corridor yesterday. But we still have it in our northwestern counties, still have those hatch marks, which could be the potential for very large hail, up to 2 inches in diameter. And so this is going to be supercells that develop ahead of the main line. And so that's the other thing, is the timing has changed just a bit. The overall setup is the same, just a slightly different timing, with supercells developing a little further northwest instead of into southeast Kansas. And that's what's reduced that hail risk a little bit. But if that does change again, we can see that hail risk move. Our biggest concern is the 3 and 4 out of 5 risk for damaging winds and those hatch marks where we could get winds 80 miles an hour out there. So, but damaging wind is going to be the main concern out of these storms today. And also that reminder that between about 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. we could get an isolated storm or perhaps 2 out there. We're talking 1 or 2 out of this entire region. If we do see one of those storms get going this morning, it'll be an environment favorable for it to intensify. So we'll keep an eye out. And again, this honestly suggests there may only be 1 storm that could fire this morning, but that one could get nasty if it happens, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then we get to our primary severe threat here. By 3, you can see some supercell development trying to take place ahead of this main line of storms. This line gets going pretty quick, going pretty good within just a matter of a couple of hours. It's still just entering our northwestern counties by 4, so we still could have a couple of supercells out ahead of this thing, but they'll all get kind of absorbed into this. Now, with the line, there's those QLCS tornadoes. You see that term? You'll even hear it explained, the quasi-linear convective system. It's a really fancy way of saying spin-up tornado. And what is a spin-up tornado? The best way I heard it described as a kid, watching a weather update here in our area when I was probably 8. Take a bathtub full of water or anything full of water. You put your hand right under the water and you swoop it by. You'll see little spirals that take place back behind it. That's what a spin-up tornado is. That's what a QLCS tornado is. With the winds, it causes that swirl and can get you a brief tornado. And they can sometimes do damage as well. And we've seen that happen. So we have to first watch all of these little notches that are forming in this line, because that's where that circulation could get going with the winds. The other thing we have to watch is bowing features on this line. This is by 6 o'clock, because anywhere we get some of those bow echoes on there, that's going to be where the greatest concern for the damaging winds is going to be. By 7, it's right along I-44 through Oklahoma and north of I-44 onto the Missouri side of things by 7 o'clock. Now this line, part of the dry line, still strong to severe, begins to get a little more disorganized by 8, especially across Oklahoma, because the front approaches and we get the next line of strong to severe storms, and this will push off to the east. So by 9, it's really just west of the 69 corridor. By 10 o'clock, it's crossing into Missouri, and this is where the next round of severe weather will be, is with this line. Behind it, some additional strong to potentially severe storms. This is at 11, but by the time we get to 11, we're starting to see things wind down. The front begins to move through, starts to overtake that line a bit, and it brings our severe risk down. And as we go into Saturday morning, skies will begin to clear out and we'll have an opportunity to calm down. Now, with all the heavy rain we saw earlier this week and the more rain expected with this system, we do have flood watches through tonight into parts of tomorrow, early tomorrow, just so be weather aware on that. Remember, turn around, don't drown. As for today, we're looking at highs in the low 80s, south winds gusting to 35, north winds gusting to 30 behind the front, mid 40s, upper 50s tomorrow, and upper 30s tomorrow night. We'll see the 70s return as we kick off the next work week. We've had a very active couple of weeks here at severe weather season, and it's always important to make sure that you are staying weather aware and staying ahead of severe weather season. And so what we've got for you is a weather resources page that is easily available. All you have to do is scan your that QR code, and it'll take you to our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. And on our weather resources page, you can find information on storm shelters, weather updates, closings, and of course in wintertime, road conditions. You can also find tips for watching our live streams in real time at the KOAM News Now resource page, weather resource page. All right, that's Check Your Forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, just like your school studies, physical therapists say the best way to improve strength and mobility after injury or surgery is to do your homework. As CBS's Gwen Baumgarten reports, most patients are slacking off on home exercises.
I'm at 95.
69-year-old Purity Snelling is putting in the work to heal from 2 surgeries to her knee. While she's making great strides now, her initial recovery got off on the wrong foot.
I was not recovering at first from the therapy because I was not doing what I was instructed to do with the physical therapist.
A survey from Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center shows 3 out of 4 patients do not complete their physical therapy homework.
Up with the right, down with the left.
Physical therapist Kyle Smith says home exercises are crucial for progress.
Those couple hours in the clinic are probably not enough to fully achieve the goals and the change that we want to make here. So you are going to have to do a little more on your end of things.
Among the reasons patients fail to complete their home program, they forget, not enough time, patients find it boring or repetitive, they have pain or fear of making it worse.
It's important for us to clarify those things and find avenues to make those exercises more easily accessible for them.
Patients can get some time on the clock with simple adjustments to daily activities, like parking a little farther away at work or the grocery store, balancing on one leg while brushing teeth, or even doing squats or stretches in front of the TV.
Smith also encourages patients to be honest with their therapist.
Your therapist will definitely work with you to make the changes necessary to make it easier to be compliant with that home program.
Snelling says doing the homework has had a big impact on the time she spends with her grandson.
I can carry him up the steps. It's made my life more enjoyable for me to be with this baby.
Proving there really are enough hours in the week to get a leg up on better health. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Physical therapists also say they're also adjusting how they communicate exercise information to patients, with some older folks preferring paper copies and diagrams and the younger set looking for digital instructions. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now it's 6:30. Some seniors at McDonald County High School get ready to join the military.
We have an alert day in place today. Severe weather expected this afternoon. We're going to take a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Joplin volunteers help residents get Missouri ideas in this week's Doing Good segment.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Friday, April the 17th. We have an alert day in place today. I know we've been harping on. We've had alert days quite a bit over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Severe weather season, man. It's just been coming in. That's been coming in kind of strong here and there. And today looks to be, it's one of our higher risk days so far for this severe weather season. Damaging winds are main concern. All hazards are possible, though. Let's start and break down what that alert day is and what we're looking at here. The timing looking to be about 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. and, of course, across the region. I think just about everybody is going to get in on the thunderstorm activity. And the risk out there, 80-mile-an-hour winds, hail, large hail to very large hail, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Quick look outside. Looks nice, doesn't it? And in any other situation, this would be a great start to the day. But in our situation, not so much. MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline can eerily deserted this morning, but it will eventually fill up, I'm sure. 69 in Joplin right now. Our dew point still at 63. Humidity sitting at 81%. And those winds again south of 14. We're getting those gusts upwards about 25, 30 miles an hour. Temperatures this morning warmer than yesterday for sure. A lot of us hanging out into the upper 60s, and we've got some low 70s. Look at Iola now. Up to 71, Yates Center at 70. A little cooler out east here. Mount Vernon, Cassville both at 65, and Grove also at 71. And so here's what we've got in terms of the threats. Level 2 out of 5 risk for an isolated tornado out there. Our hail threat, while we still go up to a 3 out of 5 on this risk, it's been backed up a bit because the system has been backed up a bit. The same scenario is still expected, but supercells develop a little further northwest instead of right over southeast Kansas. That's part of why that hail threat's been backed up. But what has not really changed a lot is our damaging wind risk, 3 and 4 out of 5 risk level out there, with the hatch marks indicating the potential for up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. Now, again, we're still looking at a chance of an isolated storm, perhaps two, between about 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. If we were to see one, and again, the data suggests, honestly, it would be one, it could intensify pretty quickly. It'll be in an environment that's favorable for intensification. It may be the only one during the morning, but that one could intensify, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Otherwise, we get the dry line coming in, we get thunderstorms, some supercell development ahead of it by 4 as the main line pushes into our northwestern counties, pushing through damaging winds, isolated tornado, large hail, and then as the front approaches later tonight, we get another round of strong severe thunderstorms that'll carry us overnight tonight. All right, kids out the door this morning, mostly cloudy, upper 60s. We're going to go ahead and put an isolated storm chance on there as they head home, but it's a very isolated chance. We're otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, and about 81. That's where our highs are going to head today as we go to the upper 70s and low 80s across the region with those mostly cloudy skies. Storm chances increasing, of course, after 3, and south winds gusting about 35 miles an hour. We're going to break down timing of these storms hour by hour and talk about the cooler weather behind this front in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Compass Academy Network held a special event in Pitt State where they announced that the university's Crossland Technology Center will become the flagship location for their 2026 Summer Enrichment Program. PSU President Thomas Newsom and CAN CEO and founder Deborah Humphreys were on hand to discuss what the future holds for the network. Well, from soldiers of the past to soldiers of the future, the McDonald County School District is honoring a group of students making a big commitment to serve our country. The district held a ceremony recognizing seniors who have enlisted in the military, an effort the school says is a proud and patriotic tradition. The event brought together students, families, and the entire high school to celebrate these students going into the armed forces. The McDonald County School District is also celebrating a new student-built addition to its baseball field. A ribbon cutting was held for a new 2-story press box at McDonald County High School baseball field, replacing an outdated structure and providing a better space for announcers and game operations. Well, for many, getting a photo ID is a fairly easy process with laid out steps you repeat every so many years. But for others, it can actually be a major hurdle to overcome. This week, Doing Good reporter Ty Parks visits the Joplin Photo ID project to see how they can help.
When I learned that the state legislature had passed a law requiring a photo ID for voting, and that for some people at least getting that ID would be difficult, my first thought was, well, you can debate whether or not they should have passed this law, but since it is the law, how can we help people get the IDs? And then I learned that you need it for so many other things too.
This is where a group of 3 volunteers comes in. Meet the Joplin Photo ID Project. They're working out of the Salvation Army in Joplin to help people get the documentation they need.
Depending on the state, can take anywhere from $15 to $50. And it can, if you're fortunate enough to have been born in Missouri, the Joplin Health Department can get you one the same day.
Over the last 4 years, the Joplin Photo ID Project has helped about 500 people get the IDs needed for voting, housing, and employment. It does cost the group money, which is where you can hop in to help.
That's about $40. $40 donations go a long way. Right now, it's a core group of 3 of us that do all the work every Wednesday. And we'd love to have more volunteers who are willing to work 2.5, 3 hours one day a week.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Folks can stop by on Wednesdays from 9:15 to noon to get the process started. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker joins us in the studio to break down his Big 3 live and local stories of the week. Well, welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio breaking down his Big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Hello.
You were doing this workout segment the other day, and you hit your eye. You all right?
I am so good. It mostly hit my nose,
Your nose.
but you have had a good little giggle about it, and that's so okay.
You got to follow Samantha on social media because you described it. I mean, I only know because you described it.
I share the good and the bad on there.
It's very good.
And it's, I laugh at myself.
Well, because we've all done it before.
So.
All right, let's take a look at the big three stories this week, live and local. What's happening where you live? Yesterday, about 5 hours, it was a gas. You could explain a little bit. You guys have been talking about it today.
Yeah.
It was a strike of a line.
Yes, the pipeline company has actually put out a press release last night saying it was a line strike that led to this gas leak, and I know you have the details of that.
And neighbors had told us that they had been working in that area a lot lately, so that's obviously what occurred. You can see that's like the gas that's coming up out of that area there. They said it was a pretty big line. Someone had told me off the record, a 16-inch line. So it was about 5 hours where they could get that contained. It was about a mile that no traffic was allowed at that time. Our number 2 story, live and local, KOAM News Now. It's always a feel-good moment. This is the Cruising to Prom event that we do every year that we do with, here's Cole Darby. He's 32 years old now, but when he was 18, his mom and dad, he's in the special education group at the high school back in 2013, and he said, hey, I want to go to prom, but I'm going to drive the family truck, all right? Well, he did not have a driver's license. Like a lot of the sped kids don't have driver's license. So, of course, mom and dad said, hey, we'll drive you. And so they picked up other kids and stuff too. So now it's become a big event. They had about 40 kids that cruised to prom in a classic or cool car.
And you can see it's just like such a beloved tradition.
It's really fun.
It's just such a sight to behold.
Yeah, it's really cool. Our number 1 story, live and local news. What's happening? Well, in Pittsburgh, Frontenac, Monday morning, big fire, obviously, at the Farmhouse Cafe. It was on Sunday this last week. I know they do have some fundraisers that are online for some of the workers there that have been displaced. I mean, I don't know the future necessarily of the restaurant. They did show some interior pictures the other day, and it does look like, I would say, probably a teardown of that long-loved favorite cafe. And then our bonus story of the week. Now, this year, of course, ribbon cutting for another Route 66 thing. Now, these are 66 shields, they call it, and they've got them all across Missouri in the 10 counties that Route 66 crosses through. So if people are traveling down Route 66, they can go like in Lebanon. They've got one there. You take a picture with everybody. You know, your friends are traveling. Lawrence County, Cuba, Missouri. They've got one in Carthage. They've got one at the drive-in in Carthage. And then also the Boots Court Motel in Carthage has one. And then Springfield, the birthplace of Route 66. I think that they've got stuff going on practically every weekend.
Oh my goodness,
all the way through September. So be sure and get your picture taken at one of those, or maybe all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't planned my vacation this year, but I've really thought about driving across the state.
I mean, Route 66, what a time to celebrate.
Yeah.
I know we have that documentary that Dale and Tanya put together that you're able to catch on KOAM Plus, so definitely don't want to miss it.
All right.
Thank you so much, Shannon. We'll be right back.
All right, time for some Friday birthdays and anniversaries. We're going to start in Columbus with Josh Layson celebrating birthday number 9. Says happy birthday from your family and church family.
And in Girard, Bronson Burks is celebrating birthday number 10. Happy birthday, Bronson.
And over to Miami, where Madison Russian celebrating birthday number 28. Says happy birthday with love from friends and family in Pittsburgh.
And in Iola, Jane Carver is celebrating birthday number 58. Happy birthday, Jane.
And over to Carthage for Jay and Kendra Clement celebrating their 11th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to you.
And in Thayer, another anniversary. Barb and Lisa Johnson are celebrating their 17th anniversary. Happy anniversary to them.
And over to Oswego, where Nate Nading is celebrating another year wiser. Says happy birthday, we love you.
And then Nevada, Missouri, Frank Radspinner is celebrating another year older and wiser. It says, happy birthday, Pop Pop from Braley and Brayton. We love you.
And our list continues with Teresa Wren in Pittsburgh celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Teresa.
And Imogene Jones is celebrating another very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Imogene.
And Craig and Diana Swartz celebrating another anniversary out there, and a very happy anniversary to you. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, it is super easy to do, isn't it?
It's so easy to do. They should just pay attention to this email, which they can see on their screen right now. It's birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com. weatherforcast.com. That's where they can send those birthdays, those anniversaries, those photos, or those messages they may want us to include, but they should also make sure they pay plenty of attention to that deadline on their screen, so that way we can make sure we get it in plenty of time to be able to celebrate with them on their special day.
Very important information there. And of course, we have some very important weather information excuse me, for you as well. We have an alert day in place today. And this is why we've got a pretty decent severe threat, unfortunately, as we head in the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. And as you see there, all hazards are highlighted with a level 2 out of 5 risk on that tornado threat, and those hatch marks indicating the possibility of an EF2 strength tornado or up to that point. Remember, it's not a guarantee. In fact, none of these are a guarantee. These are just the greatest risks that will be possible that the atmosphere would support with these storms later today. Our hail risk, while we still do have that level 3 out of 5 into our northwestern counties, it's been scaled back. That 3 out of 5 was a lot closer to the I-44 corridor, but it's been scaled back because it looks as though the supercell development is going to take place a little further northwest than what was originally expected. And so supercells would give the greater risk for the large to very large hail, but we still can get some. And that's why this area is still highlighted here. And when I show you the future track, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, and then the wind, 3 out of 5 and that 4 out of 5. Now, that 4 out of 5 has also been scaled back a bit into our northeastern counties, but we still have the 3 out of 5 and those hatch marks indicating the potential for upwards of 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts with these storms as well. A reminder, again, between about 10 and 1, we could get an isolated storm, perhaps 2. If we were to see 1 or 2 this morning, those could intensify. They'll be in an atmosphere that would be supportive of them intensifying. But again, it's a pretty low chance, but it is something we'll keep a close eye on. Otherwise, we get to about 3, 4 o'clock. That's when we start to see things ramp up. By 3, if you remember roughly where that greater hail threat was, that's right where we are seeing that potential for some supercell development ahead of the line of storms. It'll start pushing into our area by 4. Some supercells still existing ahead of that line, but gradually merging into this line by 4. And these storms, again, very likely will be severe by the time they get going. It won't take them long. By 5, that's where we start to see this line really get organized, and we could have those spin-up tornado chances. So we've got to watch out for those potential notches within the line, and we got to keep an eye on that. And then also, as we go to 6, take a look now at the shape of this thing. We still have some of those notches, but we also have these little bowing segments right along the leading edge, and that's where the damaging wind risks would be maximized, as if we get any bowing segments along this line of storms. So by 6, pretty potent line of severe thunderstorms pushing through the area. Like I said, I think just about all of us are going to get in on something today. I know we don't want to, but we don't get to make the choices. We just have to be prepared for what Mother Nature is sending our way. By 7, riding the I-44 corridor and just north of that into southwestern Missouri, and again, still dealing with severe weather. Well, we get this line, dry line storms, then we get cold front storms starting to develop off to our west. So just entering the far western fringes of Osage County in northeastern Oklahoma. But that line will then become our next round of strong to severe storms. These storms get a little less organized by 8 as the front approaches and that other batch begins to become the dominant line. But these storms still here can still be strong to severe. But our greater concern will then shift to this line, pushing into Chautauqua County, western Montgomery County, parts of Washington County. By 9, we've got this line much more organized, this initial line on its way out, and we'll have strong to severe thunderstorms along this. By 10, it sweeps through pretty quickly. It's already to the I-49 corridor and rolling east from there. And then as it finishes, we'll have a few additional strong to potentially severe storms. This is 11 o'clock as the main batch rolls through, and then the cold front will gradually begin to overtake all of this, and our severe threat slowly winds down about 1, 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll have a few lingering showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder, and then by Saturday morning, we'll begin to clear out and be considerably cooler across the area as well. A reminder, we had a lot of flooding concerns. Columbus reported widespread flooding with the heavy rain we got from those supercells Tuesday that just kept developing and cycling over the same places over and over and over. That's kind of what you get with the line. The line is moving east perhaps, but the storm's not moving. They're moving northeast, and it goes so slow it can lead to some flooding concerns. That's why we have flood watches tonight into early tomorrow in parts of Kansas and Missouri. So again, the other side of all the severe weather is to remember, turn around, don't drown. Going to go ahead and leave an isolated shower and thunderstorm chance up there between 10 and 1. Looking at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it's not anything concerning by any means. We do have a little shower trying to get organized just to the east of Independence in Montgomery County, so that could be the one. It may not be the one. And like I said, there's a chance we may not see any development this morning, but we just want to make sure we're weather aware, and of course we'll be here watching that very closely. 70 by 8 into the upper 70s, pretty quick warm up by 11 o'clock. Got another look at your forecast here in just a moment, and when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., you can join Samantha Walker and Martez Wilson at 24 Elite Fitness as they celebrate Move More Month with some basic cardio.
This is your Wake Up Recap for April 17th. Your top stories to start your day. Roads in South Joplin reopen after a major gas leak forces closures in all directions. It started sometime before 2:45 p.m. yesterday. The leak was near Southern Star, River Road, and Gateway Drive in Joplin and Newton County. Officials asked the public to avoid the area as crews worked to repair the damage. The gas created a loud roar and visible cloud as it escaped from the line. At one point, authorities had closed traffic for as far as a mile from the site of the leak. In Joplin, more than 200 people attended the Thrive Joplin Summit, including nonprofit groups, businesses, and community members. One Joplin will launch the Thrive Joplin Project, which is a 4-year plan to improve health and wellness across the region. The blueprint focuses on several areas such as affordable housing, mental health, and family support. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And a reminder, we have an alert day in place today. Strong to severe thunderstorms start working in after about 3 o'clock or so. Initially supercells and then a line of storms with all hazards possible. We'll go into the low 80s today, mostly cloudy, south winds gusting to 35. Shower storms strong to severe through the evening and early overnight hours. North winds behind our front, though, are gusting up to 30, and behind the front, temperatures dropping into the mid 40s. But this line bringing severe threat through at least 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. As for that, though, take a look. We're into the 50s for our Saturday, upper 30s Saturday night. It's a brief cool down, but definitely a notable one. Temperatures warming up next week. We'll see the return of the 70s by Monday.
Well, thank you, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making Philly cheesesteak bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings. April is World Autism Month. Coming up on CBS Mornings, popular podcaster Kylie Kels and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Jihad Campbell are live in studio to talk about what they're doing to support the cause.
Or you can switch on over with us.
Could not read any of that. I'm sorry. I'm just having a hard time.
It's Friday. It's Friday. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. It's Fitness Friday, and I met up with Martez at 24 Elite Gym to learn some basic cardio exercises to get that heart rate up.
Absolutely. And Shannon Becker back in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. Going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be tracking these storms for you and see you back here Monday at 5.
And we'll see you today at noon.